So, Rebel Cav Medic here. I thought I'd do kind of a series maybe called On the Way Home, because it seems like I have no time anymore. So I figure, why not talk on my long drive home? So, I was thinking on the way to work that what would I do if suddenly all the vehicles around me, including my own, stopped running? Yeah, it'd be kind of peculiar. Yeah, everybody in their right mind's thinking I'd call AAA. Well, what if the cell phone is down? And all of a sudden you realize that our worst nightmare, the quote-unquote EMP or quote-unquote solar flares, finally got us, finally hit. So I came to the conclusion, as many others have stated, that it's kind of an odd thing to think you're going to jump out of your vehicle, throw on some camouflage, grab your rifle, and walk home. So, along with some others, I think the best possible outcome is blending in. And I think that what I would do is while my vehicle was still coasting, I would make sure, sorry for the rocking camera, gotta love construction. I think the best ability would be to blend in for as long as you can, because everybody seems to think that when it goes down that everything's gonna stop. Everything's gonna stop moving. Now here's one of the very interesting things on the road that I'm on. All these lights would be out. But anyway, so back to the subject. I'd make sure my vehicle coasted off to the road. I'd drop the electronics that I have sitting in my truck because they're of no use to me anymore. But just in case it's something that I didn't realize, you know, you stash them in the truck, you lock the truck, you know. And then I'd make my move. I'd grab my go bag and haul butt for home. But see, the way I work, I'd have to change clothes. So I keep a change of clothes that are more, I should say, less attractive, less appealing. They're not going to be standing out and people are going to go, oh, look at him. But the game plan is that I would be able to get home with no problems. And that's not necessarily the case, because there's going to be a lot of people on the road, especially if you take an interstate or a main highway to work. You're going to have a lot of people questioning things, and a lot of people get mad, and you're going to find out those angry people are out there. But let's say you are on the way home and everything's going fine. Well, here's the issue. The cops are still there. They're still going to be, the cops' vehicles are going to stop, but the police officers are still going to be on patrol. They're still going to want to know what's going on. They're going to have set up active roadblocks, even if they have to use civilian vehicles to block the road, but they're going to control the entry points and exit points to certain areas. The fire department is still going to be around. The firefighters are still there. The paramedics are still there. Their vehicles just don't run. And the biggest part is maybe the federal government's in an uproar, but your local government's still going to exist. You're still going to have a county sheriff. You're still going to have a police chief. You're still going to have city councils, mayors, county commissioners, and they're going to want to keep some kind of semblance of control over their territory. So for somebody to think that the minute the lights go out, that all of a sudden they're going to jump up, grab their AR, grab their AK, grab their SKS, grab their M1, and go to town, you're going to find yourself in a very dark jail amongst other people that thought like you. So the best plan that I can think of is to just take your time, get yourself home. Don't stand out. If you're not wanting to help everybody on the planet, then don't be the big bolstering individual and start answering 1,000,001 questions for everybody, and just head for the house. But at the same time, don't travel looking like a meek, weak individual because you have something the others might not have. Let's say it's the dead heat of summer in the middle of Florida, in Florida, and it's 105 degrees with 90% humidity, and you got a nice big bottle of water. Well, that business guy who sits at home and bench presses his steroid addiction suddenly wants that bottle of water because he's been sitting on top of his car for 2 hours cooking. Well, if you want to portray yourself as that meek little character, then that's exactly what you're going to be, and he's going to take that bottle of water from you. So, as I say a lot around to people that I know, don't be a victim, but don't put yourself in a position where you take charge of other people that you don't want to take charge of, because there's a good possibility that you got a family, you got a home, you got a group of people that are counting on you to do the stuff that you guys set up to do. So, with that said, I think I'm gonna call it a night. I still got a heck of a drive home, but I just wanted to put some thoughts in your head, because a lot of people are discussing about what happens during the WROL or during the EMP strikes or during economic collapse. But I think I want to encounter, what are you going to do when it all starts out? How are you going to handle it? What do you do if you're at home? And what do you do if you're at work? I mean, I commute 50 miles one way to work because the job market sucks so bad. But I mean, what are you going to do? One way or the other, And you got to talk this over with your family. You're going to have to, if you're lucky like me and you have a wife who stays at home, you got to discuss with her. Honey, if the lights go out, this is what's going on. Honey, if this happens, or if you just have to talk it over. If you got kids in school, you got to talk to the kids and say, hey, listen, if this happens, this is what you're going to have to do. This is what we're going to expect of you. And this is where you're going to meet mom and dad. This is where you're going to meet grandma and grandpa. This is where you're going to meet your aunt and uncle. Whatever your dynamic of your family is. But you got to talk it over with the people in it, because they're all major factors. I know, it's always amazing, in my opinion, how in the books and stuff that people write about the end of the world, everybody's always at home. The main characters are always at home with everybody they love. But in reality, most people work. Most people aren't home. If it happens during business hours and you're a businessman, you're going to be at work. So that initial plan may have to hold off for 2-3 hours till you get home. Or in my case, might have to hold off for quite a bit more. And depending on where you work and where you live and what kind of neighborhood you work or live in, the deterioration of civility and civil unrest will break out. Depends on how fast you're going to be able to move. That's one of the things that I talk about when I talk to other people is I set up bounding points. Like, I know where I work. I know where I pick up part-time work. I also know where the closest like-minded individual is that I can talk to, and that'll put me up for, say, a night so that I can get some sleep so I can continue my trek to my family. These are all things that you have to think about. Don't just think that, I'm gonna camp out in the woods until I get to the house. If that works for you, great. It won't work for me. I gotta travel through a couple counties and a whole bunch of cities before I can get to the woods that I might have to camp out in. So for me, it makes a whole lot more sense to set up some focal points and some bounding movements and some tactical rest stops, I guess you could say, you know, where I might be able to grab a meal. I might be able to, but I'll definitely be able to get a good night's sleep. I'll definitely be able to refill my water and be able to continue my trek home. But in the end, my number one goal is to get home, because that's where my family is. You know, that's who I'm in charge of protecting. So, it's just a few thoughts from my ride home. I thought I'd share them with you guys. So, as always, thank you for watching. I hope it's not made you dizzy or seasick watching the bounding and bouncing of the road. But as I speak. But I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope it gets you guys thinking. As always, feel free to comment. Any comments, concerns, complaints, they're all appreciated, because everything helps me learn and it helps you learn too. So, have a great night.